get out of all of us. So that's why we got two schedules. But this location, the history of it is a one-liner, and it explains all of your gear in one fell swoop. This is the same red barn that held horses that delivered milk and eggs for the resident of Charleston. Okay, what's here will be delivery, milk in minute 1, 5, 10, 15, 20. You see the increments of time. That way I'm not searching for anything. Right. Again, if you guys brought a lot of upland with you, I don't want to be biased towards looking for it. Does that make sense? Right. I'm not here.
Something about this initial
I like the steps on, and you had something else that came up as well. What else did you? What was the first thing you said? Oh, here.
The first thing was automatic. What is going on over there?
So, welcome to what I showed before. All right. So try not to film those cars. What's going to happen here is I'm going to give you guys the history of why we're here, and you're going to spread out. And I'm going to do round robin to make sure three, and then bring you back to show you how all the answers piece together. I'm taking notes from all of you. So, what the hell is this place? Oh, this is where I start withholding information on purpose, by the way. I will not be giving you all questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the big red barn. So just keep that in mind. You'll get the answers from the communicators.
That's my horse.
Horse? The horse is out? Yeah. So they're actually swapping them out. I seen the truck out over on the other road up there, so they're swapping them out. They sent them back to the pasture. They only spent like 2 weeks here. 3. We kept getting that number last year as well. But they spend, I think it's like 12 weeks out of the pasture. But anyway, this place used to be the, what was it? Yeah, we're not staying here. We'll be somewhere else. This used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney mansion. So their mansion actually sat in front of this space, basically looking at that giant tour bus. Eliza's garden was lined up with 5 church restaurants coming all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. Who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case you weren't paying attention. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us. Nice. Okay. Now that's going to be your new. That's your new baseline. While we're here, don't give me anything below that number. And then when you get the next higher number, that'll be that new baseline. So we're gonna. That way, I'm not going back and forth on the number. So 8.1, I gotta write that one down. But anyway, signers of the Constitution. I hate politics. By the way, if I don't bring it up, they'll do it for me in a nasty manner coming out of a spirit box. So I just make sure I give them the recognition and we move on. And I bring up the point about the 3 Chucks is because back in the 1700s and 1800s, everybody had the same damn names. So
you just said I don't like that person.
I'm not surprised.
Here.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
It literally just said somebody came and said I don't like that person.
So better history. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, do not expect numbers from the colonial times when girls got married at like 12 and 14. Think of today's standards because the husband was over double her age when they married. There's a creepy age gap then, it's a creepy age gap now. I'm just going to point it out. It's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Now, moving on. She married him because her dad was over in England. He thinks he's dying over there. That's where their family's from. And he's trying to bring all of his kids home one last time so he can see them. Eliza didn't give him time, so she stayed put right here and got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to earn a green card. We're not a country yet. There's no such thing. She married him out of love. There is nothing horrific about this location. If anything, it's a place of respect and it's a true love story. Moving on. She was correct. Dad didn't die right away over there. And instead he started sending us gifts from England. What you got?
I did not
put that emoji on my phone. I got that word, and then my phone buzzed, like I got the handbag notification, and that emoji popped up.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why. Okay. Could just
What
be
kind of phone do you have?
an iPhone. So it's like predictive stuff, but
Yeah.
I didn't touch my phone either at the time. But it buzzed.
I gave her a heart. She
And
wrote
you
down the
gave
word
her a heart.
love and gave her
I
a
wrote
heart
heart.
emoji afterwards.
And then there's underneath it, like, you know, because usually it's like love, no. Anyway.
I get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, no such thing as coincidence in my book. So anyway, Dad started sending her gifts. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo that he sent over. Indigo is a plant, makes blue dye, makes your blue jeans blue. Most of you have it on tonight because that's what we use it for. But when she got her seeds, no idea what to do with them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going. It's not always hot here. I mean, we all have jackets on. You can't even grow it in this kind of temperature. But anyway, once she, learned how to grow it, she learned how to make the dye, and then moved to a cash crop. Got a hold of her father, and told him that the rice plantation and prices were going downhill. They were going to make a killing with the indigo. And now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys showed up. So, by the way, I'm just going to mark this now just because I forgot to do it yesterday. Yesterday was the anniversary of Eliza's birthday, December 27th. So I don't know the exact number of years that she would have been. So she would have been 302 years old. Yeah, how about that? I know, right? So what's going to happen is I'm going to give you guys focus questions. When I say focus questions, and that's anybody with a communication device, you can say these things out loud, you can just focus on them. There's no right or wrong way to do this, and the answers can go anywhere, including the audio, and it's starting to drizzle. Perfect. The audio on Ray's camera or the voice recorder that I'm carrying as well. So tell me all the silly shit that you're hearing like you've already been doing. You two are going to actually have the same set of questions, but you're using a similar style of spirit box and the same speeds. So you guys are going to focus on her death. 4 major questions that we get answers to. Age and time of death, how she died, where she's buried, and which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So if you go rogue, 3 little rules about going rogue with your own questions. No yes, no questions, obvious, we talked about that. Be respectful, and do not ask about your children. So I'll reveal the reason why before we leave the space. So Adeline, with yours, you're going to focus... Evelyn, thank you. No, I want you to correct me, I appreciate that. So, just like she called me Rick, and I'm going to be a jerk about it all night long. They don't like that person. You are going to be focused on the mansion. It's not here. So figure out what happened to it. I'm going to be honest with you. She already heard it on the way here. Do you remember what you heard? What word did you hear when we were about to walk in here?
Fire.
Fire. The place caught fire. So what I want you to do at this point, since we already have that answer, normally when we get the word fire, burning, or blaze to kind of signify that, we'll often get 2 or 3 numbers from the exact date of when that fire occurred that destroyed this place. So that thing will give you numbers too. You can also, what happened? When did the fire burn your mansion down? Just be direct. You can also ask questions about because it'll give you numbers like about their marriage, like how old she was, how old Chuck was, how long they were married, what year did they get married, those kind of things. And the year you already know, that was 1740. In the event that the rain gets any worse than this, we will go back to the location where there's a little bit of shelter. So it's not because I think y'all are going to melt, it's because my equipment's expensive and I don't want that shit getting wet. So I'm going to check on the weather while we're doing this. How's our camera doing? Is it holding up?
9.6.
9.6. 8.1 is the other one I got to write down. It's perfect. But otherwise, I'd say let's get to work. Crank those spirit boxes up. If you got anything new, you're writing a book over there. November 27th.
That's my birthday, by the way.
So who did you bring with you?
Probably my grandfather.
I got love too.
You're going to get a lot of love terms over here. I forgot to write down the date on this.
8.1 and 9.6.
Remember, 6 or 7. All right, guys, spread out. Get to work. doctor moves here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd, or the song Brown Eyed Girl. So it's pretty well worth knowing. It's not part of his name. He's in it all the time. So, with that said, he moves here from Rhode Island because he's supposed to get married to his fiancee Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents. So he is destroying shit. So I don't know if you guys can hear him. I know you can hear, especially with that screeching going off in the background. We could have really messed with her, by the way, and if she would have said what's going on, we could have all said there's nothing going on. We don't know what noise you're hearing. But at any rate, we have caught some disembodied whistles while we've been here before. But I want to also point out that with the spot checks of these spirit box recordings, I can't tell you how many times the whistling part of the song shows up and then the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. It happens all the time. And I don't look for it. Remember how I look for things 5, 10, 15, 20. So again, it just shows up. And everybody, when they leave here, they all have to whistle. So I have to take note that we had 2 people whistling in the background, so I'm not trying to count that as anything for our actual evidence. So if you're going to try this on your own, I don't know how long you guys are staying here, but you use the voice recorders on your phone and you walk all the way through. Remember, I can't take you all the way through because I've been kicked out of here. We're getting to that. Remember, every local knows the story. So anybody that walks down Cumberland or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down here. It's just, that's what we do. I can't even drive by this alley without throwing a whistle. My wife makes fun of me all the time. But anyway, let's talk about how I got kicked out. That's the fun part, right? Because you guys want to hear I got in trouble. So it's funny because my daughter was on the tour the night that I actually got in trouble, and she was exactly her age. So this is actually kind of ironic. But anyway, so this alley, and this is something you probably didn't know because nobody talks about this shit. This alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There used to be a wall up there, about halfway between us and Cumberland, which is why I always stop right in front of the gate, because yes, I come down here in the daytime and I've done the measurements. I wanted to know where the wall was. The reason I'm telling you about this wall is because it used to be called Cow Alley. This is where they kept all the livestock for the city of Charleston. So cows, goats, and chickens are down there. They started building this alley down by Queen Street, and over the couple of 100 years, worked on to what we're standing on now. Those bricks are older than what you're standing on. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there. I'm sure you knew about that. It's about 14 bricks in, just off to the left. But I used to take my groups down there for a history lesson. There's nothing paranormal about that brick. That kid is not staring at that brick in the afterlife. November 26th of 2020, I took my entire group down there, full group, and they all stopped. And they're huddled around the damn brick, waiting for something to happen with the gear that I handed out. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen. And we're also standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I was just trying to be respectful. I didn't realize we were out of bounds for tours. I was still new at this. My daughter was on the tour that night, and the man came out screaming his head off. My daughter thought it was great, by the way. She was laughing hysterically. And we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving. I used to work for upper management for Walmart. Before I started doing this, you guys fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You scarred me for life. I don't work holidays ever again. Now Halloween. I don't even work. We've already talked about that. But anyway, the next day was the 28th. I called my partner that brought me into tourism. I asked him what to do. He's laughing already because he already got the complaint from the city because this guy obviously called me in. And he said, you're not allowed to go down that far. It's residential. And he hung up the phone. I'm like, well, damn it. Now I got to figure it out. I told my group that night because it's Black Friday. I'm sold out again. I don't believe in the next story because I'm into vampires, not pirates. I would normally tell you a pirate story next. We're not allowed over there anymore. However, if I tell you we're going to be dealing with a pirate, which pirate do you think we'd be investigating here in Charleston?
Blackbeard.
Blackbeard. Right. Thank you for not saying Jack Sparrow, because that's the most common answer I get. But Blackbeard, right? Before we left the space, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them we were going to be looking into Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate.
I already got Anne.
Yep, over there. So I took them up around the corner. I'm like, okay, maybe we'll get something to tie that Anne together. And somebody else heard the number 300 out of a different spirit box. I didn't know what it meant. I wrote it down. I did the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So
I already got 300.
I'd seen you had like 200 and 300.
200 and 300. 200 and 300.
But over there, I had no idea. So it was kind of like damn it. I was actually quite pissed off. Most of the time, people are like, wow, that's really cool. Not for a guy like me that loves research. The problem is pirate stories were written 100 years after the golden age of piracy, and then we twisted the tales over the couple of 100 years after that. So that's a problem. Whenever you guys were finding something, I had to read like 2 textbooks and watch 4 documentaries to try to verify the one small piece that you guys heard. However, I had this great big story, but we're not allowed in that space anymore. So what I did on a quick wit was I had to come up with a new story. I'm telling a story that everybody ends with, and I don't like the story because it's cursed females. Look who's standing in front of me tonight.
Sorry.
What?
I got a word earlier.
What'd you get?
Feminist.
Where at?
Right here.
Well, we've been here?
Yeah. Like right when we first got here.
Interesting.
Sorry. I didn't mean to freak out like that.
No, you're fine. I love when you guys freak out like that because that tells me you got something good. So what I did was to get rid of that story that I don't like to tell. I actually came across something new in the evidence. So I'll tell you about that once we get up around the corner. I'm going to swap out Ray's camera once we get there because we're going to need a different style of camera. I'll show you guys how it all works. Does anybody want to test out what Amy's, that crazy listening device that she's using? Anybody want to test that headphone out for about a minute or so before we leave the space? This is the only space that we use it for. Wow, no takers.
Do you want to?
She could probably hear that crazy alarm like crazy.
It's just loud.
It should be like
Like
most people describe it as loud. It's very clear.
Oh yes. It's like an echo.
I have too many.
And
I have too
somebody.
many
So is the
things in
part
my
where they
head.
hung Blackbeard down here on the battery? Is that real? Is that a real story? They did that, right?
Well-
I was here in the Charleston.
She wasn't on here.
No, Blackbeard was.
No, he was not.
Oh, okay.
He actually died over in Oklahoma.
Okay.
So he's North Carolina.
Gotcha.
But Steve Bonnie, his men, those guys were and Bonnie, actually, we don't know where she died. Because once she was bailed out of jail, she was a free agent and she changed her name and had a family. We just don't know where.
Mhm.
How are you doing on that thing now? You said you got disembodied.
Oh yeah, I also got possessed, bring her worth, graveyard, beware, grass, design, and tilt. While here, along with feminist.
Alice, did you get anything out of yours? Or were you focused on me?
I was listening to you. I had it kind of turned down.
Yeah. Most people I roll in here, and that's okay. Yours was recording. It looks like she just hands me her wallet and phone.
It's a
Power bank.
yeah, power bank. Okay. Who wants to-
Anybody else want to give that thing a quick take before I pack it up? No? Okay. So I'll hand this
Perfect.
back to you. I'm going to take the headphones first because it does give feedback. And I'll keep it away from there. Perfect. And we're going to stop this recording. So sorry that we're going to